Module Overview. Watercolor painting, often perceived as delicate and unforgiving, is one of the most expressive and technically demanding painting disciplines. This module dives deep into the compositional strategy, technical precision, and creative spontaneity required to master watercolor. Watercolor is not merely paint mixed with water. It is a complex dialogue between pigment, water, paper, and the painter's timing. This module will walk you through a thorough understanding of watercolor materials, including paper types, brushes, pigments, and mediums. We will explore a wide spectrum of classic and contemporary techniques such as wet-on-wet, dry brush, glazing, granulation, lifting, masking, backruns, and layering. You will also be guided through advanced compositional strategies, color control, value planning, and the integration of mixed media with watercolor. By mastering watercolor's subtleties and embracing its unpredictable nature, you will be equipped to produce works of intense vibrancy, atmosphere, and emotional depth. Learning objectives. Upon completing this module, you will understand the fundamental behavior of watercolors and how to control it. Master the essential watercolor techniques from beginner to advanced. Analyze paper types and surface absorbency and how they affect painting outcomes. Apply various brush manipulations to achieve texture, movement, and subtlety. Execute compositional planning, value mapping, and tonal layering. Explore experimental techniques like salt effects, graffiti, lifting, and wax resist. Combine watercolor with ink, charcoal, gouache, or digital tools. Section 1. Watercolor materials and their behavior. Pigments. Watercolor pigments are finely ground and suspended in gum arabic, allowing them to be reactivated with water. Transparency and staining properties vary per pigment. Common series, professional, student, and pan versus tube forms. Paper types: hot pressed, smooth surface, less absorbent, ideal for detail. Cold pressed, not, slightly textured, versatile, and most used. Rough, highly textured, enhances granulation and expressive marks. Weight: 140 pounds, 300 grams per square meter is standard. 200 pounds plus for heavy washes. Brushes: round, flat, mop, rigger, fan. Natural hair, sable, squirrel, versus synthetic bristles. Water holding capacity is key. Section 2. Foundational techniques. First, wet on wet. Painting onto a wet surface allows for color blooming, blending, and organic edges. Best for skies, backgrounds, and atmospheric effects. Second, wet on dry. Controlled, crisp edges, suitable for detail, contrast, and definition. Third, glazing. Transparent layers placed over dried paint to build depth or adjust hue. 4. Dry brush. Paint applied with minimal moisture for scratchy, textured effects. 5. Flat and graded washes. Flat, uniform tone. Graded, smooth transition from dark to light or color to color. Section 3. Intermediate to advanced techniques. Lifting, removing pigment with tissue, sponge, or damp brush. Used for highlights, corrections, or clouds. Masking, masking fluid or tape used to block out white areas. Must be applied and removed carefully to protect paper. Backruns/blooms, caused by adding wet paint into partially dried areas, often considered a flaw but can be used creatively. Sgraffito, scraping wet paper with a knife or stylus to create fine white lines. Salt effects, sprinkling salt on wet paint creates crystalline textures. Must be timed correctly. Works best on thicker washes. Section 4. Compositional and value strategies. Planning. Start with thumbnail sketches and value studies in pencil or monochrome. Focus on light direction, focal point, and negative space. Value mapping. Tonal contrast is critical in watercolor. No white paint, so highlights must be preserved. Use layered glazes to darken values incrementally. Color mixing. Pre-mixing versus on-paper mixing. Limiting palette to 3 to 5 hues increases harmony. Granulating versus staining pigments influence mixing outcomes. Section 5. Creative and mixed media, watercolor techniques. Wax resist, crayon or candle drawn before painting, resist pigment for reserved highlights. Alcohol drops. Drops of isopropyl alcohol repel pigment in wet washes, creating ringed textures. Watercolor plus ink. Use fine liners or dip pens to outline or define forms after wash dries. Collage integration. Light tissue, fabric, or printed material can be glued and painted over. Must be sealed and applied on heavier papers. Digital plus watercolor hybrid. Watercolor painted traditionally, scanned, and digitally enhanced or layered. Section 6. Finishing and preservation. Mounting and display. Watercolor must be matted and framed under glass. Acid-free materials for longevity. Archival concerns. Use light-fast pigments. Check ASTM rating. Avoid excessive exposure to sunlight or humidity. Varnishing. Optional. Some artists apply spray varnish, UV protectant, if displaying without glass. Practice assignments. Paint a landscape using only wet-on-wet and dry brush techniques. Create a value-based portrait using only 2 pigments. Compose an abstract piece utilizing salt, wax resist, and sgraffito. Develop a botanical painting integrating masking fluid and ink outlines.